The day Maya's song landed back in Chicago, she found a man in her brother's bed. His cheeks were flushed, and his eyes held a feverish glint as he huddled beneath a luxurious duvet. His gaze fixed expectantly on the bedroom door. The moment he saw it was her, his expression soured. He scanned her from head to toe, his voice dropping to a frosty tenor as he demanded to know who she was and what she was doing in Ethan Song's apartment. Maya was baffled. She wondered who this person was, staking a claim in her brother's home and eyeing her as if she were a rival. He answered her unspoken question with a declaration of ownership, stating proudly that he belonged to Ethan. The declaration only deepened Maya's confusion. It wasn't that her brother was secretive about his orientation. He was quite open. It was the boy himself. His skin was pale against the dark sheets, his eyes wide with an air of manufactured innocence. If not for the calculated tension she'd felt upon entering, she might have mistaken him for some harmless creature. A shame, she thought, that he was so clearly playing a part. As if sensing her judgment, he slid out of bed, his displeasure evident. Maya instinctively shielded her eyes, only to peek through her fingers a moment later. He was wearing sweatpants. A flicker of disappointment surprised her. His cold voice was suddenly beside her, sharp with interrogation. He wanted to know her relationship with Ethan. Maya considered her response, aiming to clear up the misunderstanding. But her brother chose that moment to enter, carrying a steaming bowl of his famous chicken noodle soup. The aroma immediately captured her attention. She was starving after the long flight. "Ethan, I'm fading fast here," she announced, moving to take the bowl. He deftly sidestepped her. For a sister who prided herself on being her brother's favorite, the slight stung. He was actually giving her favorite comfort food to someone else. Ethan must have read her mind. "The rest of the pot is on the stove for you." Her irritation vanished, replaced by a triumphant smile. Her brother did love her best. The man, now aware of her identity, softened his tone considerably, offering her his bowl. Maya couldn't help but roll her eyes. The sudden shift from hostile to solicitous was almost comical. It was too late to win her over now. She snorted dismissively and headed for the kitchen. Behind her, the man's voice, now gentle, explained that he simply had a fever. Ethan's reply was calm, suggesting he spend time with his sister who had just returned. Maya scoffed internally. It wasn't a fever, it was a performance. Over a large bowl of soup, Maya immediately messaged her best friend, Chloe. They had been partners in crime for years, a self-proclaimed duo of a fortune hunter and a connoisseur of attractive men. Coincidentally, they both had ridiculously handsome and successful older brothers. And Chloe's brother, Julian, happened to be Ethan's old college flame, the one that got away. In fact, seeing the man who had supposedly captured her unflappable brother's heart was one of the main reasons for her trip. To find her home base already occupied was a betrayal. She demanded answers from Chloe, whose voice over the phone sounded suspiciously guilty. She confessed that the boy was Caleb Vance, the younger heir to the formidable Vance fortune and a distant cousin of hers. He had apparently been smitten with Ethan at first sight. The guilt in Chloe's tone was a red flag. Maya knew her friend's habits. "You didn't sell my brother out, did you?" she asked, recalling Chloe's recent boasting about securing a $50 million investment from the Vance family for her own startup. A sheepish confirmation came through the line. More than 50 million, in fact. Maya's reply was clipped. "See you at the boxing gym." The battle for her brother's affection could wait. First, she needed to have a friendly chat with the architect of this situation. After a vigorous session of sparring that left both women feeling much better, Maya was heading home. Passing a dimly lit alley, she heard the sickening thud of fists hitting flesh and pleas for mercy. Curiosity got the better of her, and she peered around the corner. The scene was brutal. A dozen large men were surrounding a single figure on the ground, beating him relentlessly. A shattered camera lay nearby. The man in charge stepped forward, grinding his shoe onto the victim's face. His voice was like ice. He warned the man on the ground that if he ever harassed Ethan Song again, he would disappear permanently. Maya then realized the man standing over the victim was Caleb. The boy who acted so fragile in front of her brother was now issuing life-threatening orders. After the terrified victim nodded, Caleb slowly wiped his designer shoes on the man's shirt. He waved a hand dismissively. "Toss him in the lake." Just then, his eyes flickered towards the edge of the alley, catching sight of Maya before she could fully retreat behind the wall. She froze. Objectively, she knew the Vance family could make someone disappear without a second thought. Seeing this cold, ruthless side of him changed everything. He was no longer just an annoying house guest. He was dangerous. He gave a new order. "Don't let him die." His gaze burned into her, trying to gauge how much she had seen. Then, a pleasant, almost kind smile spread across his face. Maya forced a smile of her own. "Fancy seeing you here. Is your fever better?" He walked out of the alley, guiding her away from the scene as if nothing had happened. Once they were a block away, she felt she could breathe again. She was trained, she reminded herself. She could probably handle him in a fight. He told her he felt much better, but had noticed someone across the street secretly taking photos of Ethan's penthouse. He suggested it might not be convenient for a girl to live there. Maya fought the urge to roll her eyes again. She had been home for one day, and he was already trying to push her out. He wanted her brother all to himself. That was absolutely not going to happen. Back at the apartment, Maya found an opportunity to speak with Ethan alone, detailing everything she had witnessed. She expected her pragmatic brother to be alarmed, to want to distance himself from Caleb immediately. Instead, Ethan simply smiled, a glint of amusement in his eyes. He confessed that he'd known all along. "I just find it rather entertaining, the lengths he goes to for his performance. Don't you?" The day after her return, Maya was strong-armed by her father into a position at Song Enterprises. To her surprise, Caleb, a young man of immense wealth, was also there, working as a junior clerk. He was constantly at Ethan's side, fetching documents and essentially taking over the duties of an executive assistant, always with a sweet smile. That is, until a new intern appeared. The intern, Leo, was a handsome college student who bore a striking resemblance to Julian, Chloe's brother. This, it turned out, was Caleb's breaking point. Anytime Ethan spoke to Leo or even glanced his way for a moment too long, Caleb's subtle machinations would begin. To an outsider, he was being helpful. When Leo made a mistake on a data report for Ethan, Caleb swooped in. "Ah, mister. Song needs this urgently. You'll definitely get an earful if you hand it in like this." He would then offer a solution. "Don't worry, I've already corrected it for you. Just take this version." Leo, moved and grateful, was unaware that Caleb's true goal was to minimize his face time with Ethan and paint a picture of their boss as an intimidating, unapproachable figure. Over time, Leo came to rely on Caleb completely, never daring to approach Ethan directly. This dynamic continued until one day, Ethan and Leo ended up in the same elevator. Maya happened to be there, a silent observer to her brother's effortless charm. She and Ethan were running late, thanks to Chloe keeping her on the phone half the night gushing about some new celebrity couple. Just as the elevator doors were closing, Leo's anxious voice called out, "Hold the door, In the next second, Ethan's hand shot out, stopping the doors. The bright hallway light illuminated his face as he smiled at the flustered intern. "Colleague," he said warmly, "get in or you'll be late." Leo nodded, speechless, his face turning a deep crimson. After a long moment, he managed to stammer his thanks to Mr. Song. For the next few days, Leo delivered documents himself, blushing every time, his hero worship unknowingly infuriating Caleb. During lunch, Caleb was conspicuously absent from Ethan's side, choosing instead to join Leo. For the rest of the afternoon, Leo was visibly dejected. Maya approached his desk with a slice of cake. He mumbled that Caleb had told him he was causing trouble for Mr. Song. He looked so crestfallen that Maya almost choked on her cake. The sheer audacity of Caleb, the ultimate clinger, accusing someone else of being a bother was astounding. Before she could say anything, Caleb himself walked past, giving them both a pointed look before disappearing into the break room. Maya feigned indifference and walked away, but glanced into the break room as she passed. The sight made her wish she could unsee it. Caleb was openly pressing his lips to the rim of the coffee mug Ethan always used. He met her gaze and offered that same kind, unsettling smile. She shivered and looked away, but he walked straight towards her. He mentioned that they hadn't been properly introduced and wanted to give her a welcome gift. "I heard from my sister that you like." He paused, a wicked glint in his eye that belied his innocent facade. "I like handsome men." The sister he referred to was, of course, Chloe. The idea of him giving her a gift was suspect. Before she could get angry, he held up his phone, his thumb swiping through a gallery of stunningly attractive men, some of whom were famous actors she admired. She held her breath, mesmerized. When he reached the end, she struggled to maintain her composure. He asked if she was sure she wasn't interested, mentioning he had their contact information. It was a difficult offer to refuse, but this was about her brother. She couldn't betray her family for a pretty face. He sweetened the deal, offering to arrange a date for that very day. Fine. She conceded, her principles crumbling. She excitedly named her celebrity crush. He leaned in closer, his voice a low whisper. He proposed an exchange of resources, information on Ethan's likes and dislikes. Caleb then launched a full-scale romantic pursuit of her brother, a stark contrast to his earlier tactic of feigning illness. He engineered situations where he would always need Ethan's help, projecting an image of vulnerability that Maya found intensely awkward. She had seen him coldly turn away several others who offered assistance. He would wait, eyes wet with feigned helplessness, until Ethan came to his rescue. One evening, after faking a twisted ankle, Caleb refused to let go of Ethan in the car, nuzzling his neck like a cat. He whined that he was hurt and needed to be held. His voice was sickeningly sweet. He didn't seem to notice Maya in the back seat, nor did he see the look of resigned amusement on Ethan's face. Caleb then demanded a kiss as payment for letting go. When Ethan didn't respond, he lunged for one himself. Ethan dodged, and Caleb pursued, the chase becoming a strange, playful struggle in the front seat. Finally, embarrassed, Caleb relented, only then noticing Maya watching the entire spectacle. He froze for a moment before composing himself. While Ethan drove, Caleb turned and asked her in a low voice if she hadn't gone on her date. She replied with a dismissive wave, explaining that men in the entertainment industry were easy to acquire but tiresome to maintain. "Real-life drama is much more interesting," she said, her eyes flicking between him and her brother. "You two are very interesting." Anxious, Caleb offered up his college roommate's contact information. Maya leaned forward, intrigued. Is he handsome? Caleb considered it. Not as handsome as your brother. She leaned back, losing interest. Desperate, he finally gave up his best friend's private social media account. The friend was indeed handsome, but also a talker. Maya soon had a wealth of stories about Caleb's past. She used this new leverage against him. Caleb, you wouldn't want my brother to know about those things, would you? She was bluffing, but his deep, calculating stare told her she had hit a nerve. If not for her being Ethan's sister, she felt he might genuinely have her thrown in a lake. They struck a deal. Maya relayed the entire transaction to Ethan, admitting her own schemes were no match for his. Ethan just smiled, taking off his gold-rimmed glasses and polishing them slowly. He had had enough of the game. Then it's time for me to close the net. He was ready to discover Caleb's true identity. At a major corporate gala Ethan had initially refused to attend, he made a last-minute appearance. He walked in just as Caleb was cornering Leo, his tone menacing. Caleb never showed mercy to perceived rivals. Ethan's expression turned to ice, and he turned and left without a word. The sudden shift threw Caleb into a panic. He ran after Ethan, leaving Maya standing alone in her evening gown in the chilly night air. She called Chloe, who was thrilled by the dramatic turn of events, squealing that this was the night one of them would be conquered. The thought horrified Maya. While her brother was brilliant, he wasn't a fighter. Ethan would be overpowered. Unacceptable. She grabbed the keys to a valet car and sped home. Before she even got to the door, she could hear strange, intermittent noises from inside, punctuated by her brother's angry, frustrated curses. She froze. This was happening. All night, she sat in the courtyard, counting the 857 roses in her brother's garden, torn between bursting in to save him and the fear that this was exactly what he wanted. When the front door finally opened at dawn, Caleb stood there, his face a complex mask of panic, fear, and a strange, triumphant excitement. He was terrified that Ethan, knowing the truth, would cast him aside. He confessed he couldn't bear the thought of Ethan leaving, so he had forced the issue. He wasn't afraid of revenge, only of his disappointment. Maya got up to check on her brother, but Caleb blocked her path, offering to fund the entertainment company she'd always dreamed of if she would just give them a few days. The offer was tempting. The company he named was a powerhouse. She considered his devotion. For someone of his stature to act so humbly for her brother, to tolerate her own attacks, showed a genuine heart. She agreed, but the moment he left, she climbed through a side window. She had to see for herself. She knocked over a vase, and the crash made Ethan, who had been lounging casually, suddenly look miserable. He fumbled with the loose ropes binding him to the headboard. The bed frame itself was broken. Seeing it was only her, Ethan relaxed and untied himself easily. The ropes were elastic. Caleb hadn't wanted to hurt him. "Caleb will be back at noon," Ethan said. "If you have something to say it now." Maya realized then that her brother wasn't a victim of imprisonment. He was treating it as a twisted sort of vacation. She suspected he had wanted this confrontation all along, miscalculating only his own physical inability to overpower Caleb. "So you're just locked in here and my company is off the table?" she asked. Ethan gave her a knowing look. He reasoned that after this, Caleb would feel eternally indebted to him, giving Ethan leverage for the rest of their lives. The most cunning predators, Maya thought, were the ones who played the prey. Her brief period of leisure ended when she was kidnapped. It wasn't for ransom or for her looks. It was a case of mistaken identity. The kidnappers were enemies of Caleb, who, despite his gentle facade for Ethan, was ruthless in business. They had seen Caleb dropping her off at her new company, seen them entering and leaving the same building, and misinterpreted his rare smiles in her presence as affection. Listening to their assumptions, Maya grew increasingly angry. This group of amateurs hadn't even done basic research. With her black belt in Taekwondo and years of Sanda training, she made quick work of them. Soon, she was sitting in their boss's chair, watching the kidnapper chief grovel at her feet. She gave him a new order: kidnap Ethan Song. Their relationship needed a catalyst, and this was the perfect opportunity. An hour later, her brother was brought in, looking composed until he saw her sharing a meal with their captors. "What in the world are you doing?" he demanded. She smiled. "Brother, it's time you two figured things out. You need to give the man a title, right?" He snorted but didn't argue. The kidnapping was easy. She had provided the route through a secret passage in the penthouse that Caleb didn't know existed. Caleb arrived quickly, his usual composure gone, replaced by raw fury. His focus was entirely on Ethan, tied to a chair. He didn't notice the kidnapper's fearful glances in Maya's direction. Following her script, the leader presented the classic dilemma. "I can release one of you. Who do you choose?" Caleb answered without hesitation. "I choose Ethan Song." The kidnapper, confused, asked if the gentle, kind girl wasn't his girlfriend. "I choose Ethan Song," Caleb repeated, his voice dangerously low. The kidnapper looked at Maya, desperate to get rid of the hot potato. "But she's a girl. I choose Ethan Song." Ethan looked impatient. Maya shot the leader a look. The farce was over. The ropes were dropped. Caleb rushed to Ethan, checking him for injuries, missing the faint red marks on his neck from the night before. Caleb then turned to the kidnappers. "Now I choose her." The leader was baffled. The choice was over. Caleb smiled coldly. "Then I'll give you two choices. 1, you let her go. 2, I cripple all of you and then you let her go." The kidnapper leader's face turned red. He mumbled something about his employer, his money, and how this was a huge loss. It turned out his main concern was how his crew would eat in the future. Maya, a model citizen, solved that problem by turning the entire group over to the police, ensuring they would get 3 square meals a day for the foreseeable future. Returning home, she was greeted by sounds that confirmed the Cold War was over. They had entered their honeymoon phase, which meant all their work responsibilities were dumped squarely on her shoulders. One evening, exhausted from running both her company and Song Enterprises, she came home to the sound of Caleb's coquettish voice coming from Ethan's room. He was playing sick again. Then she heard her brother's voice, playing along, calling himself doctor. It was role play. They were role-playing at home while she was slaving away at the office. She wanted to scream. Her life found a new normal. Her entertainment company flourished, and Ethan eventually returned to work, though Caleb remained a fixture at Song Enterprises, acting as the unofficial boss's spouse. Then, a new project brought Julian, Chloe's brother and Ethan's old flame, into their orbit. Caleb was instantly on high alert, standing behind Ethan like a shadow, his fingers flying across his phone screen. 10 minutes later, a handsome, domineering man burst into the office. It was Damian Vance, Caleb's older brother and Julian's intensely possessive partner. He wordlessly wedged himself between Ethan and Julian. Ethan just smiled, a perfect, placid smile that Maya knew was pure provocation. He remarked on how Caleb had so much free time now, even enough for his lover to pursue new business ventures. The subtext was clear. Damian was too controlling. While Ethan had no lingering feelings for Julian, he couldn't resist the old habit of teasing him just to see Damian's furious reaction. "I'm not as free as Mr. Song," Damian shot back, who seduces my brother and now seems intent on seducing my partner away. He glared at Caleb, who ignored him, diligently organizing Ethan's afternoon schedule. Your partner? Ethan mused. If you weren't so contemptible, perhaps he would be mine now. Ethan's song. Both Vance brothers shouted at once. Damien, ever the hothead, raised a fist, his corporate image forgotten in a flash of raw jealousy.